Grand Rising, my brother.
Grand Rising, brother. Um, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today, as we get right into it on the Humblest Opinion, um, nearing the end of our first season. First, we want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in to our faithful listeners and viewers. Thank you for people supporting us, um, namely AB2C Broadcasting, BTV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. We want to say that it's been a journey, and we're glad we could all or have you along to come with us for the ride. Um, on this episode of the Humblest Opinion, we're going to be talking about, coming down to the end of the season, coming down or near the trade deadline. We want to make some changes. People want to make some changes as they make that stretch run or head into that stretch run. We here, as melanated people and otherwise, always want to put our best foot forward. So we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, a disclaimer. Our disclaimer states that the Humblest Opinion is brought to you by the AB2C Broadcasting, BTV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. The views, opinion, ideas, thoughts, requirements, and disseminations. Anything that comes out of this program is brought to you via an at-will platform. This at-will platform definitely leaves us 0% not liable for anything said on this platform. And by you listening, you are 100% liable for anything on this platform. Anything you hear, thought, think, or do as a result of it. If you do not like anything that's on this platform or what's being said, you have the right to leave and or to go. But again, today, our racial draft or our free agency period, the season is coming to a close. Tell us why you think something like this is important.
Listen, we need to come to the point where we just get rid of the waste. Get to the point where we just simply cut the fat. We have to get to the point where we get serious and say, listen, man, we don't want y'all. We don't need y'all. Y'all ain't serving us no purpose. We need to get
Right.
real.
Yeah, we don't need. Yeah, simply put, for example, let's just say if you get reparations, which is highly unlikely, it won't exist in its current form, it won't probably be fair. You have the killers, the oppressors, the people that are doing or responsible for reparations or for the crimes would be on the panel or the board or somewhat based on the structures of the powers how it be. They'd be the ones deciding on how and what would be given as reparations. So they're not going to be fair. They're not going to be ethical. They're not going to be adequate, as if anything could be given out as such. But so it benefits everybody if it was to happen, though. If it was to happen. But now, is it fair that people that struggle and boycott and study and read, that have a Pan-African mindset, and should they get the same amount as the ones who out here, marrying snow bunnies and cooning on television? But again, you think that's fair?
Definitely not. See, here's the thing that's so terrible, because you spoke of the oppressors. You have the people who are the oppressors, and then you have their puppets, who are the coons.
Correct.
Which is so scary, because now you can't even trust someone who looks like you, who you expect to stand up for you, to do whatever it is that they need to do in reference to you. You cannot even trust that. They are more dangerous than the oppressor, because you don't even know them as enemies until they show their hands. and
Yeah.
that is scary. That is scary, dangerous, because they're within our camps, and they come just as the oppressors have always come, bearing gifts, acting as if they are your friends, acting as if they are truly making sense. And then what do? They turn around and they stab you in the back. They lead you off of a cliff. All right.
And they,
They are
yeah.
worse. They are worse than the oppressors. Understand me? They're worse than the oppressors, man.
This has been our history. This has been Black history. This is how the movements and the things that, um, the struggle of Black people has always been taken down. You have the various names. The latest movie, Jesus or Judas and the Black Messiah. The Judas came first. The Judas was an FBI informant. You have people now. Jesse Jackson was there with Malcolm X or Martin Luther King and so on and so forth. These individuals were traitors. So to eliminate all of that, you know, we could just we gonna get rid of you. We gonna cut you or waive you, or send you, put you out on the open market for some other race to pick you up. That's the only solution. That's the only solution. Today, as we near the trading deadline, the end of the season, you know, Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey, who's been in the color purple, who's been, you know, all in these different movies that are definitely supposedly black or represent African American culture. And if you look about it and think about it, you know, the the problems and some of the images that she's put out there, some of the questions and the thoughts when she had the right and the opportunity to do it, hasn't done it. Oprah supports the Weinsteins, the perverts, but she has a school for girls in Africa. It's too much confusion, too much. So I just say she gotta go. She gotta go. It's more. Oprah has a cult of black women leading them down the pathway of. I don't even know where she's leading them. Because she's the only one getting rich, and everybody else,
Wait,
everybody else
I
is
guess you can say. I guess you can say the pathway of destruction. The pathway of destruction is what she's leading.
where she taking her. Where she taking the women? She's good friends with Serena Williams, who oh my goodness,
Okay, but
who
and you see what she suddenly became. All right, she's trying to be a little Kim now with all this bleaching out. Next thing you know, she got well, they did not know his job and all this stuff. That's the point. Okay, they are leading these people down the very dastardly path of coons, of self hate, lack of self esteem, lack of morals, and um, depending on the oppressor to be their savior, regardless of how much money they have, they still want to run into the hands of the opposite races.
I don't know. And it kind of makes me want to question. Is she? Does she really have the amount of money that she's saying? Is she really free? You know, it seemed like a false flag. It seems like a church minister that driving a Lexus, while all his church minister, all his members walking. And she did give you a car. She said you can have a car, and you can have a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. But we don't know what Oprah driving.
I'll say this to you. I believe that she has some good money simply because of the fact that she has been manipulating the minds of these people for years. But the fact that she
Yeah,
closed some
definitely.
things down and stepped back from some things when this whole pandemic situation took place. I don't know if that was a move for more money, like a few others have done, or whether that was a stepping back, because they got some cases going on in court that the mainstream media is not touching. You got some people walking around wearing some ankle bracelets who are charged with some crimes, some serious crimes, some big names, and some big names that was in a circle with a person who they say killed himself. You just don't know what's going on with these people these days. So honestly and truthfully, I can't say what's going on with Miss Winfrey at this point.
We I agree with you 100% because and that's another thing. Okay, if Oprah, who's had $1 billion or is the first black female billionaire, you know, who did she take along with her? Did she make other billionaires too, or she just threw the money
Oh,
in the
oh
air?
hell no.
Did she throw the money in the air and whatever came down went to her, or whatever stayed up went to everybody else, or did she get
She
a?
threw the money up in the air and she made certain that she was in a helium, okay, oxygenated place so that never dropped to the ground, bro. Okay, that rose up and went into her room or whatever chamber that was. And, if one or two of them did happen to drop down, then, you get your Gales and your Dr. Phils.
I still because she on the cover of the magazine and people keep buying every month. Like hold on. The only person on the magazine that's been on the cover of Oprah or Harpo magazine is Oprah, and people still buy it. You know what? I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a psychic by any stance of the imagination. But but can you guess who's gonna be on the cover next week or next month, brother Gamma?
The thing is this:
Right.
programming. The programming is real. The um the miseducation is real. The brainwashing is real. And people don't realize that they're under a spell. Too much of that, you get hypnotized. And when you become hypnotized, you have no idea what you're doing. These people are the walking dead. And that's what people don't understand. They feel like when you watch the movie and they talking about the walking dead and the zombies walking with their two hands in the front of them and all this, you know, moth-eaten skin and all this different. No, no, you're mentally dead.
A lot of people are devoid of souls. A lot of people are devoid of any conscience. You know, and if you had to look at one thing for me, when a guy and yourself out there listening, you might have a different reason too as to why. It might not be a big deal, but for me, I see in too much pictures and too much videos and too much interviews of Harvey Weinstein and these other people, these high name people, that she just plays so surprised and she just politely dances around the questions and the
Listen, man,
ideas.
these,
So
all of them was
Markle,
partying together, man.
she pays her $10 million to come on the show, and she's like, Meghan Markle. It's like, you know what? They were racist in at the White House, and Oprah politely doesn't answer. Wow, you mean they're racist? She asked the question like, oh my god, she asked so surprised.
Yes. She
Asked so
she plays a
surprised.
role well. She plays a role well.
Like, oh wow, they're racist. Oh my
That's
goodness.
why she's been there so long, because she plays a role
Uh,
well.
so
She
yeah, so we gotta trade her. Matter of fact, I don't even know. She don't. I don't know what team would want her. Maybe the white team would want her.
man, listen, she was already on their team. We just officially letting her know that she is no longer welcomed here. Okay, she was ever on their team. Okay,
Actually,
there's
actually,
there are
I'm
many
just
people who
getting
didn't know.
I'm just getting a press release from the league office, and they did say yes that she is not actually on the black team. she's been traded a long time ago. Her and OJ and Tiger Woods along with that. This is back from '92, so yes, you're correct on that, Brother Gamma. She's no
Yeah,
longer.
they
She's
yeah
not there.
they just never made the announcement. You know, that's
Right,
how people go.
right,
They never made
right.
the announcement.
Brother Gamma, who do you nominate?
All right. One of the people that I would nominate. I don't know how many people know who this is. Bob Johnson goes by the name Bob Cat Johnson. He is the founder of BET. Right now, he he's been a coon for the longest time. All right. A lot of people don't realize and know that. All right, because a lot of his funding, of course, would have been coming from the oppressor. He is one of the people who was campaigning hard for Hillary Clinton in 2008. You understand? Just the fact that he pushes for people like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, um, Bill Clinton, those who we know are taking advantage of destroying our black people and countries with our melanated people in them. All right, he is definitely somebody who I would rate as a coon that needs to be traded. When we
Yeah,
speak, yeah. When and speaking of that kind of individual, then when you go onto the political scene, you got to talk about Candace Owens. I mean, she goes without saying.
yeah. So, and it's actually kind of sad, when you start pulling these people file and you're digging through what's really going down. But what Bob Johnson, BET, which has changed drastically, and I don't even know if it's still owned by black people. He might have sold it. Who knows? But
That part I'm not even sure of either.
but was it really ever about black entertainment? Were you really, you know,
No, no. It was about entertaining black people to point us in the direction that the oppressors wanted us to go in, because you're still only showcasing a certain kind of music and pushing a certain kind of agenda. These kinds of places, them and MTV, those were the kind of places that have more of our young men with the pants sagging. All right, more of the bleaching, male and female, going on, more of the gangster mentality. You know, these are the type of things that they were pushing. They weren't pushing the positivity. You understand?
and definitely so damaging irreparably an entire generation of not just black people, white people. That white people think that all black people, no, I can't say white people. I can't say Latino people. I can't say Chinese people. Latino people are black people, by the way, just so we know. But the image of what the black person was and is has been innumerably damaged and irreparably. It's gonna take just as long as it took, BET and so on and so forth, pushing the agenda of what black people were and are and so on and so forth. To in the opposite direction, in a positive way, to undo what BET has done. And then it's so unfair, it's so imbalanced. What the ratios that they were showing black people in a negative light and showing them in gangsters and killing people. It's really changed and pretty much made the whole entire American psyche even worse than what it was before. People didn't really read. Most people were illiterate back in the day, so they heard rumors about what black people were and so on and so forth. And white people were doing this. Birth of a Nation and so on and so forth. White people were doing this type of propaganda, you know. But when now you have Bob Johnson having a station that's pushing the propaganda by a black person on black people, come on, man, come on, you come
But
on.
see, that's the thing. That is why it's so believable, though. It's so believable simply because of the fact that you have your, and this is why the cones are so dangerous. You have your people who you see their name, you see their faces, you see how they look, and you just assume that they're all for you. BET, Black Lives Matters, all the same thing. You understand? You put a black face on it, but you have a white oppressive agenda. Look at the big difference between the messages that were sent from the Cosby Show and Don Cornelius with the Soul Train. Think about it. Look at the big difference. And then you see what takes place when these other people come in. And then you realize that the agenda has changed.
Definitely a great legend and legendary stuff. Um, as far as what Don Cornelius has done, rest in power. On the image, I look at old Soul Train videos now, and I still look and see, those that image of what black people were and happy and just dancing and relaxing. I mean, come on, man, that's perfect. That's who we really are. Not all the time, but it still represents a positive and better image than what people were. This is garbage. This filth. Like black people, and now you think about social media. That's what most women are doing. They're twerking because they was twerking on that TV, and everybody will rap
Yes.
and play basketball and play doctors. Meanwhile, Bob Johnson is really educated man. Been to some good schools, done some things. So I mean, come on, man. He gotta go. He gotta go. And then you talk about Candace Home. What's this woman name? I don't even know her
Candace
name.
Owens.
Candace
Candace
Owens.
Owens.
Oh, where should we begin? First, okay, let's go back. Candace was the recipient of a lawsuit. She filed and made and won a lawsuit alleging racism. And she's accused the white oppressors in her town or city or whatever where she was. You know, uh, she's accused them of racism. And she won. She won her case. So she proved racism. Now she's all
Right.
about disproving racism. You know, uh, don't make
See,
sense.
the thing is that well, actually, it makes perfect sense because this is the thing that we notice as it relates to politics and has been taking place for so many years. When you have an activist, they get noticed once they continue with their activism. And you know what the oppressors do? Because the oppressors come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. They grab you and they say, hey, we love what you're saying. We hear what you're saying. We, we see the voice. We see the difference that you're out here making in the community. You need to come on board and help us to change things. And then when they pull them in, they give them a sweet, cushy job, nice salary, and they say, this is what we need for you to do. Now, you can make all this money, or you can stay broke, be blacklisted potentially, and still have your voice out there, but you're not going to ever be rich. And they see that money and they say, what? Where the hell with these people? I got to get me. And that's what happens. See, this is the thing. When you're outside of the circle, right? All right, you're outside the house. It's freezing cold. It's freezing cold. Hailstorm, throw a tornado and a hurricane up in there at the same time. You banging on the door. You to get in there. You have your sign up. You're picketing. Other people are picketing with you, but you were there first, and you're making the most noise. Everyone allows you to do the talking. They say, you know what? Come inside. Let's have a conversation. You ain't trying to go back out there. Okay, you ain't trying to go back out there. Sometimes you end up seeing the storm pick up its ferocity, and you see some people getting blown away. And you will say, oh, wow, let me try and see if we can find a rope in this house to tie onto something and throw it up there so we can pull some people in. Nah, close that door, close them curtains, sit down round that fireplace, and have yourself a nice meal. All right. They get you some nice expensive clothes. Tell you could drive one of the cars when the storm is over. That's how they get you. They hook you with these carrots. And so many of our people are so weak because they've never seen these things before. See, doors open. We feel as if and I'm speaking from experience because when I became an executive of a political party, invitations started pouring in from different places. So whenever they would have something, um, anything to do with government, as an executive, you would receive two invitations. You know, so now you're able to step up and rub shoulders with, hobnob with these big names in your country. They ain't nobody but they have a title because they're in the circle. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Because if you have a conversation with some of these people, you're like, how did you get here? But at the end of the day, you go to these places, and a lot of people felt special being able to be in these places, even if it didn't do anything for them. It didn't further their career. It didn't um, put them in any kind of political stronghold unless they were prepared to do some serious favors or they came there really, really kissing hip, which is what a lot of people do. They go and they kiss up and they get themselves seen and known. They go and um they go and they sleep with somebody, male or same sex or opposite sex, don't matter. Okay, they do whatever they feel they need to do to try to make sure that they get what they need to get. And
I
this is what happens all over the world. This is what happens all over the world.
and it's funny you said that because segues perfectly into our next person that I would recommend as far as who we would need to sell, who we need to trade, who we need to let go. You know, Bahamian people, Caribbean people, and it just goes down the line. It don't matter the country. In each country, there's been one namedly remarkable political trader that the people just seem to love. They don't care about his or her track record. Their only concern is, oh, that person makes me feel good. That person, oh, when they talk, I love to hear them speak. But what the hell are they actually saying? What are they actually doing for people? Is the question.
For the most part, nothing.
For the most part, nothing. And one of the people I would trade, as someone as a Caribbean or Bahamas, I could go down the line. I could go down the line. In Jamaica, PJ Patterson. Gotta go. Have to go. We gotta let him go because his rule, his time in power, it's done innumerable damage to the Jamaican people. Jamaica had industries and bauxite and so on. This man sold it for pennies on the dollar. This man is a coon. You gotta go. People, oh, it's so eloquent in how we speak. What? Come on. Damage the Caribbean innumerably. If you want to look at the Bahamas, and I don't care who hears this, I want you to hear it and go look at the track record. The man that sold BC, the man that sold Batelco, the man that sold Paradise Island, the man that reversed the roads in the Bahamas to cater to foreigners and pretty much permanently economically enslave a good majority of Bahamian people, to give them jobs in the hotel where they fire you over 5 seconds. You be 5 minutes late and you gone. Cuban Ingram, cancel and repeal.
Yep, yep.
Every law that benefited Bahamian people that had the Bahamas at the top. When they said, no, it wasn't perfect, but it was better in the Bahamas. I mean, come on, some of this stuff has changed. You could have took your little government job or your hotel job and go get a hotel or get a loan or get a house or get a something. Now it ain't worth nothing.
Every prime minister after him did this. I just continued with it. All right,
Exactly.
just pushing the Bahamian people down. So yes, he needs to lead the pack, and he needs to carry his partners actually. Um, even though Brave was never the prime minister, need to Christie, carry Brave Davis, and somebody need to like they need to just dunk a basketball on Hubert Minnis' head. You know what I mean?
Minutes gotta go. Man, we gotta let him go. You know, even if you want to go down in some of the Los Angeles countries, you know, Robert Missick or Michael Missick or whatever his name is, this man watched the movie. But again, you and me both watch the Players Club, right? You watched the Players Club.
Yep, yeah. We watched the Players Club. I watched the Players Club.
But did you ever think that anybody you saw on the screen was worth the entire economy of a country?
Hell to the no.
So, I
There
mean,
was not there was not one as a male there was not. Listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't have touched. Not saying I would not have touched deeply, profusely. Some of the female characters, inclusive of the one that he decided to take as a wife, but to take her as a wife, how does she play into that role? Like how? I listen. I can understand if he'd grab Angela Bassett. You know what I'm saying? I I I could have understood that classy lady. You know, I could have understood if he had taken what's Miss Huxtable's name? Taking her
exactly.
in her prime.
I know
Huh?
exactly who you're talking to. Claire
Yeah.
Huxtable.
Yes, Miss
Um,
Huxtable. Right. So I could have seen you doing something like that in her prime. But really, wow.
this man bankrupt the entire country over the escapades and wants and desires of of one of Diamond. Diamond didn't have her
Yes,
own
I mean,
diamonds.
really, like, come on, man. I mean, she wasn't a stripper in real life, but she had a stripper mindset. I mean, look who she was running. Man, listen, man. Listen, come on, man. Really?
This man, Michael Missick, took the money of the Turks and Caicos Islands. You know, they probably was going on a little negative spiral to begin with. You know what I mean? From what I could see, because they were a part of other Caribbean countries and they were wanting to be independent, but now they went back up under the Queen. You like come on, like so the whole country suffering from Stockholm syndrome and leadership. Come on, man, you gotta go. We don't want you in a conglomeration. You gotta go, man. You telling me now? You telling me now that is the goal on how you gonna do this? You over Diamond, over one, and then you banquet. She gotta go on trips and private jet with the look. This ain't your money. The country money. Come on, man. One, you done going against the code. You done living wrong. You done doing it wrong. You know. So we could go down the line as far as different countries. These people believe and wholeheartedly think that they are right. But again, what up with this?
They said he would have done far better just choosing Miss Felicia Rashad, because I don't know if she'll
Philly.
ever get a chance to be on our show. But if she does, I would not want it to be said that we did not know who the hell Miss Rashad was. All right,
Right.
so another person that I would definitely want to
Gotta release. We
trade.
releasing them. We releasing or trade it. You know, which
Yeah.
we ain't really want that back.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes. Because honestly and truthfully, when you getting rid of garbage, I mean, what are you going to expect in return? So,
Just let it go. Yeah, we just letting it go.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh shit. I know exactly who this
Jesse Lee
man is.
Peterson. Just the coon who was on the radio show with Dr. Umar. That coon. All right.
We don't phrase it as such because he was a coon before Dr. Umar. This man,
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that I never knew who the man was until then.
this
Okay,
dude,
and
this
and
this
and, and he just showed his coonism.
he's classically coon. He's a classic coon. Gee, okay. This man tried to justify slavery. This man has tried to justify the economic empowerment of religious leaders over black people. This man has called our black leaders liars and race baiters for basically standing up and making it known at events of protests or economic boycott and so on and so forth. He's
He
from
is that
Alabama.
real.
That's all I can
He is
say.
that real house Negro.
You're right. He is the modern day version of Uncle Ruckus times um he's the modern day version of Uncle Ruckus and
Yeah, can't remember
the guy in Django.
the yes, that I was just about to say. Can't remember the name of the person, but yes, you'll always remember Samuel L. Jackson in Django.
you know that character. That character is this ain't the character. This real life. And it's almost like I'm looking like, hold on, this is comical, or he just saying this for likes, or he just trying to get your attention, or no, he believes this.
He lives this, breathes this.
He believes this. Corn, man. We have some other people too, of other races, you know, and just so we know, we are actually placing a moratorium as black people globally on inviting to the cookout or giving out honorary black passes or nigger passes. We stop we stopped all other races. The cool white boy or the cool Asian. No, 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 no. You gonna be Asian. You gonna be white. You gonna be black because we need to focus. We need to cycle the wagons and focus on us, our people. So we stopped that. All passes have been held up until further notice. Right, but again,
Yeah, yeah, yes, my brother. See, the vaccine ain't taking them out soon enough. So we just gotta get rid of some of these people. Just throw them off the train. Just gotta get them off the damn train.
yeah. So we looking at other people of other races. One individual, um, of the white race, the Caucasians, the Caucasoids. I right now, Bill Gates, you know, and white people he ain't looking too good, buddy. He ain't looking too good. We hate to belabor a point. We done
Yeah.
talked about this in two different shows, but buddy, it ain't
Yeah.
looking too good.
Yeah, it ain't like it ain't.
If you got $140 million, boss, and you hiding
Yeah,
in
something,
your
something, something
resort
wrong. Hey,
from
something
other
wrong.
white people,
Hey,
he have
hey.
$140 billion in control every environment he be in. He have multiple security. He could buy his neighbors. He has no neighbors. He done bought the whole resort. He own all the farmland and the waterland. But you hiding? I know. Your own wife don't want to be with you, and you have
Yeah.
$140 billion. Boss, but again, I'm gonna let me go.
Yep. Saying a lot. Saying a lot.
It ain't looking too good. It ain't looking too good. So right now, like I said, I don't speak for white people, because white people can't speak for us. But boss, something gone down. You white people look like they probably ready to trade you. They probably just let you go, just to let you go. But again, anybody else from any other race, that might need to, you know,
I might need to. I mean, Fauci need to go. Fauci need to go. All right. He need to get the hell out of Dodge. He need to go. And people will be coming for him. Things are happening. People will be coming for him. Him and people like Gates, those came together to destroy a great percentage of the world. I mean, that's a
yeah,
serious atrocity because you're not just focusing on other races, you're taking out your own people too. Yeah, that is not going to look good on any resume.
anybody, let me clarify and preface this statement. This is not anti-Semitic. What I'm about to say. This is not separatist in any kind of way. This is not hate speech. This is love speech. We're telling you this because we love you. We want you to get to your best self. We want all the races to be their best potential. We want whatever you all feel is your cultural precedence and expertise to be at its highest point. If you make poppy seeds and whatever that's what y'all produce in your country, be the best at that. Make sure nobody have a headache and make sure all is made and whatever and so on and forth, so on and so forth. Now, if you're saying, if you are anybody right now and which is mostly Jewish, and which, by the way, is confusing, just if you want to know, that Judaism is a religion. Um, Israel was not a place before 1940, and being an Israeli or having an Israeli state didn't exist. Even in their own books, they're telling you that they went and tried to kill a bunch of people and slaughtered a bunch of people like for their own land and killed everybody. They said this, they'll admit this, and they're doing it right now again in front of your face. If you feel that the Palestinians or the people that are Philistine descendant or Iraqi people, and you're not saying anything about this, well, we want to trade you too. We got to let you go too. For the gamble.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, my brother. I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly.
These people are killing little children right now. They're bombing people that are sitting peacefully praying. Now, how they all became Muslim, how they all became this, or praying who they praying to, that's their business. That ain't nothing to do with me. That ain't nothing to do with you. Why they praying, that's fine. But if they praying, they really bothering nobody. But for you to bomb them while they praying, come on, man. And you were
Listen,
supposed to be praying too. Your
that
holy time and their holy time was the same time. So you say, you know what? Forget what your Jewish God or Israeli God say. You going and obey your holiday or your religious thing to go kill somebody else? Come on, come explain that.
the level of atrocity is unexplainable. Like, I mean, it leaves words behind, but it's clear to me, in my humble opinion, that y'all were never real to begin with. Because if you stand on something and say that you stand on something, then how are you going to go against that? You're speaking about your prayer time and your most honored and sacred principles, and you're going against them to take life. You was never real to begin with.
Yeah, so we definitely have to look at definitely have to look at some of the things that's going on because it's really not correct. It's really not fair. It's not um, yeah, you're not dealing with people correctly. And the traders got to go. There's probably some Asian people out there, that we. But there's so much of them. Anybody that you come into somebody else's country to kind of choke their economy, we gotta let you go. You buying up all the oil, buying no, you don't give nothing back. You dying waking, dying right. So it's probably different people of different races, which we could get to in other shows. We could do this occasionally. We're gonna
Yes,
clear the house out.
right. Because the thing about it is some cards need to be pulled. That's what really has to take place. See, too many people are concerned about not hurting somebody's feelings. They don't do any digging of any dirt until mainstream media or the masses of social media start pushing things against that particular person. We spoke before about constantly getting swung because we're concerned about how well somebody speaks and how much we like them. And mainstream media makes certain that you love them because they don't pull their cards. We got to start pulling the cards because if we pull the cards of people, we pull the cards of countries, you actually start to see the real and true history of these individuals. You may look at them in a different light.
Yeah, and that truth is invaluable because the perception and the mind of our next generation and even the people now is just it's it's important. It's always important. The kingdom of the mind is definitely the most important place. You know, I had somebody say to me and ask me about Hitler. And atrocities nonetheless, horrible. You know, um, unclear as to what went down, but by all reports, most reports, it seems to be horrible. Um, it was horrible, unexpectedly. But he's not the most prolific killer of people and purveyor of genocide and so on and so forth. Leopold, 50 million
To
people
say
in 30
that
years.
that's how history has it, but Leopold did far worse.
Far worse. He did 10 times or 4 or 5 times more at least, but people talking about Hitler. Now, when you have people in the day and age, right now, as we speak, Israeli people are bombing and fighting people for a land that was their own. This is not Israel. Israel was not there. This is Palestinian people. This is their land. And they still gonna come to you today and tell you. And I wonder if they're gonna try to come make a movie about the Holocaust this year.
Well, the thing about it is this: mainstream media will push anything. They had a movie called Gods of Egypt, and all the gods were white. So I find nothing strange in them going and creating a movie to make it seem as if what's going on is right. Because who is America backing? Are they backing the people whose land it belongs to? Or are they backing the people whose land they created to make it seem as if it belongs to them? All right. This is why we must get into deep conversations, because when we do this, we get to find out the truth and we can try to find ways to change it. Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There's an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. Martin Luther King said that. Martin Luther King Jr. said that. Okay. And this is the world that we're still living in today. This is the reason why when they see these things taking place, they can't grasp it, because they never bothered to have a conversation about it. They just took the word of mainstream media and left it at that.
We have to come. That's a part of the process. We trying to. Our history has to be written. Our history is not our history. Our history is their history. Our history is their story. Our history is their examples, their opinion, and their viewpoints on what we should be being taught or be being taught, or what we should be being told our children, and so on and so forth. So, when this is their story as to what happens or happened back then, you know, and probably we'll never find out the full truth, or it's going to take work to get to that point. But it's worth it to do this. So we got to get the suckers out the deck. We got to get the jokers out the deck. We releasing. We got to release. We gotta let some people go. So we can do this periodically, just to kind of clean our house, just to kind of get some stuff up. Um, yeah. But again, my final thoughts. Anybody might have omitted. Anybody might have forgot.
Yep. Listen, there are so many people that it isn't funny. Those people can be skated over, but
And that's
you know, you
sad.
you
And
you
that's
want
sad because we don't
you
even
want
have a
to
show long enough to
yeah,
go over these people.
yep. You want to have honorable mention of people like Kanye West and DJ Envy. Those, you know what I mean. You want to have honorable mentions of these people, you know. But um, we all have to 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 do some cleaning ourselves, and that means to eradicate the coons from within your presence. All right, unless you have to work for this boss who you know is a coon, and maybe you need to start thinking about becoming an entrepreneur and open up your own shit. You know what I mean? But if you have coons in your circle and you could remove yourself from these coons, I advise you to do so. Get in, um, try to get in circles, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups with people of like mind, so you could try to come together and change this world. for the better. That's my advice.
Yeah, we have to get to the point where, you can also still read. You can use your phone, use your tablet. you know, just Google. You know, just go look some things up. Your phone is with you most of the time. Most people on the face of the planet. Most people don't. Some people don't have food, but they got phone. They have internet. They get information and so on and so forth. You know. So we definitely have to push towards the truth. We watching other people's worlds and the existence that people have created and told us, crashing down in front of us. You know, we probably could. It's time to fix ours. It's time to bolster ours. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on the Humblest Opinion. Um, Please go to all of our platforms. AB2C Broadcasting. We're on Facebook. Some of our information are being shared and floated around the internet. Please like, share, subscribe, post, repost, comment. As we near towards the end of our first season, we thank you for your growing and glowing support. If you're interested in advertising, we will be having a new revamp show coming out. We have a few more guests in this season, a few more shows. We thank you for those of you that have been here from show one to show now, and those people that joined us and jumped on. We thank you for that as well. Join us next time. For myself, Tony Bahama, Malik Gamba here on the Humblest Opinion.